Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to Daytona. Yes, for those of you that follow the great world of motorsport outside of Formula 1, you'll know that in a couple of weeks time, kind of all the big endurance racing teams from around the world descend on the worldwide centre of motor racing for the first major 24-hour endurance race of 2025. And that got me thinking. This circuit, of course, is known for obviously the Daytona 24 and the Daytona 500 in NASCAR. But what would happen if Formula 1 came to this place? What I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk through why I think Daytona would make a good track for Formula 1. We're going to do some laps, and then last but not least, I'm actually going to try and do a multi-class race between this, the AMG W13 Mercedes, and some like Formula 3 or Formula 4 cars. If that sounds good, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs here on the channel. And yeah, let's get into the car then, and just explain why I think this place would be fantastic in a Formula 1 car. Well, here we are then, heading out onto the Daytona Road Course then. I must admit, I really do love this place. I've done so many laps around this venue in years gone by, and I'm going to do a whole lot more over the next couple of weeks. Raw Before the 24 will have happened, hopefully this morning, before this video goes live. And then next weekend, on Matt212 Racing and over on my Twitch, there'll be a link to both down in the description below. I'm going to be competing in the Daytona 24. I intend to be live throughout the entire 24 hours of the race as well. So yeah, drop us a follow over there if you want to see that in the not too distant future then. But yeah, here we go then. Daytona Road Course. It's 3.54 miles long. So it's a pretty similar length actually to the Italian Grand Prix, obviously in Monza. And honestly, the two tracks are pretty similar. They're both ridiculously high speed. This place, obviously, we've just gone through kind of the infield. The rest of the lap is basically just the oval, which I understand immediately. Some of you are saying, well, Formula 1 cars don't race on ovals. They did it at Zandvoort absolutely fine over the last couple of years. So, obviously, with Zandvoort being dropped off the calendar in the not too distant future, maybe Formula 1 needs some banking once again inside its life. Of course, yeah, most of this circuit, probably about 75-80% of it, is at full throttle. I would expect lap times to be around the low minute 120s, like 122s, 123s. But obviously we'll get an idea as we go through this session. But it's certainly wide enough. There's certainly good overtaking opportunities as well. Down in towards turn 1 is a big braking zone. And apparently there's some vicious curbs as well, where I'm so used to doing this track in like GT3 cars or GTP cars. I've never noticed just how brutal the curbs can be around this venue. So let's try and get back on the road. Luckily, I didn't pick up any damage from that moment. We'll get all the grass off of the tyres. We'll try and go again then as we make our way through the first of the horseshoes. Obviously, yeah, it would be a very low downforce race, but especially with obviously all the new rules and regulations coming in for 2026 with the active aero, that feels very scary now that is going to be next year. I think these current ground effect cars we've got wouldn't work as well, but with those ones with like the changeable wings and everything, you can have some pretty crazy races here at Daytona. Now, obviously, like I said, you know, we've got a whole month of motorsport coming from Daytona as well. I would highly recommend anybody checking out the Raw Before the 24 and the Mazda MX-5 Support Cup race as well. Pretty much always delivers a brilliant finish around this venue. But here on a Formula 1 car, it feels like a completely different circuit. You are so high speed, you are so committed around so much of the lap, of course. We get to enjoy, you know, remember porpoising from the old Mercedes? Yeah, this car still does that. Just like they used to in real life. That feels like a long time ago now that we dealt with porpoising in Formula 1 then. But yeah, let's try and go for a proper lap. Braking just as we get off under the apron in towards turn 1. And I tell you what, how low downforce this car you've got to run round here, obviously, for the straight line speed. It is not going well for me. Yeah, I want to get one clean lap in, though. I want to try and get one idea of kind of what the times are going to be like around this venue. Well, the only thing I can see being a bit of a problem in a Formula 1 car here would definitely have to be the ERS usage. I've tried to set it up for qualifying mode, ready for our last-ditch kind of flying run. And I think we're going to run out of battery before the lap is done and dusted there. But again, making your way in towards turn 1, braking just before you go under the apron there. I'm going to try second gear on the way in, just to tip the nose in really, really gentle through the exit of turn 2. I mean, that chicane, of course, is absolutely nothing at all in a Formula 1 car, but then trying to slow it down again in towards the horseshoe there. A little bit of wheel spin as we put the power down on the exit. This next one, again, completely flat out. Avoid the curb on the inside. It will definitely punish you as well, though, as we try and shut the car through this next hairpin as well. See, once you've made it through this kind of first half of the lap where all the corners are thrown at you thick and fast, the rest of the lap is basically just all about preparing for the bus stop chicane as well. I mean, it's so fast, like mind-bendingly fast in a Formula 1 car here, so hopefully I'm going to try and nail it this time round over 190 miles an hour as we make our way down the straight. We've got very little in the way of battery left, flicking in down into 6th gear. Oh, through the first part, a little bit wide on the exit. We'll do a bit of rallycross there. I'm going to pick myself up a slowdown on the exit, but hopefully we can try and get the car back round to the start-finish line and just see what the lap time would have been had I absolutely nailed it. Making our way out the final corner, but completely out of battery, leaving it in 7th gear there to try and keep the revs up high. It is going to be a 1 minute, what was it? It doesn't want to tell me. A 1 minute 40.3 is definitely not right. I think it was around a 1 minute 26. That's a 125 or 126. That's what I'm going to guess. But anyway, of course, Daytona, what makes this track so great as well is the ability to do multi-class racing here. Because obviously all that banking, you've got a bit of room to spread out. So let's see what would happen then if we did about 20 Formula 1 cars with a full grid of Formula 3 cars. Well, I've set this up then to be a 15-minute multi-class race. Like I said, we've got the Mercedes AMGs, we've got the Formula 3 and the Formula 4 cars. The grid seems to be fairly mixed up, but I think most of the Mercs are up at the front of the order. I've got no idea how this is going to go, though. Luckily, I've disabled damage, because I think it's going to be quite chaotic here. Now, one of the only problems with Daytona Formula 1 cars, you can't really do standing starts because the start line is on the banking. It would just be carnage. So we get a rare Formula 1 rolling start then, I guess. Ready for this one. As, yeah, testing out against the AI as well inside this game. But I'm expecting us to smash past the F3 and F4 cars pretty quickly. I mean, the Merc looks hilariously big in comparison to all those other machines. But immediately we're going to get a little bit boxed in the middle, down towards turn 1. I mean, if you're in one of the Mercs and you start at the front, you've probably got a very, very good opportunity to pull away through these first couple of corners. Is the game trying to take the mick there? Number 44 in a Mercedes. Obviously, that's not going to happen anymore, which still seems very, very weird to think about here. But, yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon in the Daytona 24 for cars in higher classes to have to start lower down the order. So, I mean, everybody is just trying to go for moves. I mean, we've got about as much power as 5, maybe 6 of those Formula 4 cars. So, yeah, we certainly are going to have the straight line speed over them when we get out into the banking. Luckily, we've got the downforce as well, just to kind of sneak through it. I mean, we've kept it fairly clean so far on this lap, as that F4 car looking very, very brave. Whoa, trying to go for a move. Let's just try and get to the high side. Now you can see all of the other Mercs streaming by. 3 wide there temporarily, as now everybody does seem to be kind of filtering themselves out. So hopefully we're going to see... Hopefully, obviously, we're going to have to deal with lap traffic as well. But, I mean, it's basically like that already. As I hear reports of a slow car. We'll just about make it through. Whoa, and trying to get underneath them again. How many can we get underneath there before someone moves down on me? There you go. So you got to be very, very careful. And again, if you're side by side with another car from your class, things like that happen. You just get boxed in. We'll dip below the apron. You're not meant to do that. But I think, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. And how many places have we gained then on lap 1? We started 55th. We are 12th. We gained 43 places on what ended up being quite a chaotic lap 1, I must admit. So hopefully, yeah, now we've still got Formula 3 cars in front. That is ridiculous. He's actually pretty confident on the brakes as well. We'll dive it down the inside there, bobble over the curbing. But, I mean, that's got to be one of the leading F3 cars in this race. I think there's got to be a couple more, because I've set the AI aggression quite low here. Otherwise, I think it was just going to be carnage. But maybe some of the other Formula 1 drivers struggling, hesitating a bit more than I would expect them to. So you just get a bit pinched out. Is that still a Formula 3 car running in like the top 5 here? That is absolutely insane. The fact that one of them's been able to hold on as long as they have. I think now they're going to lose out on quite a few places. If they were P2 still at the end of lap 1, that is so ridiculous that they've been able to hang on there for as long as they had. So whichever one of the Formula 1 cars has got out in front, I think is going to enjoy a very, very kind of clear run, at least for the next few laps, before kind of we catch back up to those slower cars again. But I would guess we're going to be 25 seconds faster than like the Formula 3s, the Formula 4, maybe about 15-20 seconds faster than the Formula 3s, 25 seconds faster than the Formula 4s there, as even with a lot of slowdown on that lap. Clearly that guy's running less wing than me. There we go, 131. So that's a bit of a better benchmark then, ready for the rest of this race as well. But, I mean, the AI, they're very, very quick in a straight line, but very, very slow on the exit of the corners. So maybe just turn the AI down a little bit too much for this race, but it should hopefully give us a good idea as to what it's like trying to battle you know, around this circuit as well. Because, I mean, let's be fair, you got plenty of space around here. I know the road course section around here is pretty tight and narrow and a little bit more difficult to navigate, but oh no. But pretty much everywhere else around here will promote very, very good racing there, as well, goes to show just how much the field is spread out already. We're going to be able to hang on to our position there, but struggling with the temperature of the rear tyres. I do love iRacing. It does work well as an F1 sim, does iRacing. I sometimes do like the official Grand Prix series and stuff, where you do like 100% races around Formula 1 tracks or other various circuits, and that is really, really good fun as well. Definitely want to do more of that in 2025 as well. We're just going to get a little bit pitched. Look at that guy! Just took the opportunity and went for it around the outside in towards the bus stop there. That was crazy, but fair play to him, made it work. And I'm impressed so far that we've only gone round once early on in this race, as we've got less than 10 minutes then left on the clock. Where are those Formula 3 cars, or Formula 4 cars even going to be? They should hopefully have an easier time trying to navigate around each other, but it wouldn't surprise me if a couple of them get stuck. I guess the other good thing as well is, because this circuit is obviously built in an oval, you've got very, very good visibility. I mean, if you're a fan up in the grandstand above kind of the start-finish line, you can genuinely see the entire track here. It's why you don't need any stands anywhere else, is you can see the entire circuit from that grandstand as well. I've known people that race in VR, like during the Daytona 24, when they're not in the car, they will set their camera angle up so they just sit there and watch the cars go around, which I think is just absolutely brilliant as well. But yeah, I mean, it would be good value for money if they, you know, imagine they hosted it around the same time as like NASCAR comes here or something like that, or the Daytona 24. It'd be so, so cool. You know, imagine that as like a 2-for-1 offer. I know I mentioned it when we did the F1 back in Indy video a few months ago, but it would be really, really cool to see there as wheel to wheel into the bus stop again. These AI are bullying me, man. They just do not budge. And you know what? Fair play to them. They are giving me a good run for money at the moment. So we'll try and see if we can get a run this time round. They're just hesitating a little bit. See no reason why they can't go too wide pretty much everywhere around here. And I mean, even a few years ago, it would have seemed inconceivable for F1 to run on a circuit with this kind of straight line. Or flat out section, I should say. But look at Vegas. We run at Vegas now, and I think that straight is got to be near enough as long as any of the ones around here. That's a problem. I think luckily, again, we disabled the damage for exactly that reason. Tiny little bit of contact, rips the wheel off. Luckily, we can kind of just move past that and get back on with it again. So, yeah, I think with a proper optimized setup, we easily have another kind of 3-4 seconds around this circuit at least. The problem is we've just not got enough top-end speed because, well, these cars just aren't designed for going around this circuit. And let's not forget, this is a car that was a couple of years old now. You know, the lap times of these ground effect cars have improved by 3-4 seconds since this car. So yeah, I reckon kind of low 1 minute 20s. So we'd be looking at probably similar lap times to what Formula 1 gets around Monza as well. So I don't actually think in that regard it would be too ridiculous to try and do a race here. So let's see if I can get a slingshot. Oh, the guy in front, I've run into the back of him. That was not ideal. We keep having contact with the number 13 car, unlucky for some. And clearly I'm part of that. But here we go then. Our first Formula 4 car we have closed back up to. Hopefully he's going to be fairly easy to navigate. One guy just struggling a little bit to get around in there. But hopefully we'll try and go the long way around back in towards turn 1. He's really going to try and squeeze me. Almost dip into the 129, so we can definitely go sub 90. Oh, even in this car, I cannot, for the life of me, figure out turn 1. Oh, don't say I've beached it. Please don't say I've beached it. One of the F4 cars. No, that's a Merc, sorry. One of the other Mercs there, having some patience with me as I try and get back on the road. But, yeah, I mean, it is just... I mean, I wish the F1 games were more punishing with things like that as well. Because F123 was really, really good in that regard, that it kind of felt realistically punishing. Unlike F122, that there was never any traction at any point. This car definitely has got more than that, but it's still pretty scary there, as there we go. Finally getting past that F4 car, hopefully for good. And we'll see kind of how bunched up they all are. And everything like that. So we get the power down. See there, just by being a little bit brave, we get around that guy. And yeah, we've only got like 3 more seconds then for a few more of these F4 cars as well. So, I mean, things are going to get a bit crazy here, I can't help but feel. Especially through the bus stop. Because the amount of speed we can attack. I mean, we'll be going through here 30, 40 miles an hour quicker than a Formula 4 car can manage. Like, that's just kind of the insane levels we're at. So we'll try and dip down underneath that guy. Not quite able to get the run because of it. And again, luckily, a lot of these... Oh! Why? Just giving me the ultimate brake check. Like, I think the AI get a bit confused, is all I'm going to say. I think iRacing's AI get very, very confused sometimes with that. As the number 44 car there just give me a bit of a squeeze for my troubles as well. Wasn't sure where that F4 car was going to go. I mean, multi-class Formula racing, it would be incredibly dangerous, but just, like, if you could guarantee that the drivers would be safe, it would be such a fun watch just every once in a while. I think it'd be so, so cool. As all we've clearly come up to the back of another one. Nope, I was a bit too optimistic. Luckily, again, there's plenty of kind of room to maneuver. Plenty of kind of scenery to explore here at Daytona as well. So, again, we'll keep out of too much trouble in that moment and we'll try and keep going. Maybe I just need to do a full-on oval race. Multi-class Formula Car oval race. Maybe going up against, like, the Indy cars or something. That would be insane to try and attempt at some point as well there, but I mean, we're still trying to find our way around these Formula 4 cars. We're not actually running that well in the Formula 1 category at the moment, as the AI will go around the outside of me into the bus stop, so I will do exactly the same back to them there. 3 wide on the exit of the corner, and we're still 3 wide there as we're going to force that guy into a bit of a game of chicken. But yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty much now up towards the front of the Formula 4 cars again, so we should catch the F3s, I think, once inside this race. We've only got about 3 more laps, actually. This race has really flown by, to be fair. Just goes to show how fun it is. And just, I mean, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But sometimes you've got to do these fun random bits. And apparently, again, you've got to go for a spin down at turn 1. That corner is just not working for me. I'm going to try and get back on with it. Oh, try to avoid the F4 cars as best as we can. Come on. I've never struggled so much with this car with traction. I think I'm running a Spa setup on it, which probably explains. So it's just got, like, no low-end grip. I remember doing a race at Spa, and out of the bus stop every time was just ridiculously difficult to try and find any confidence. Oh, that guy absolutely throwing it in, and I get a little bit confused, optimistic, I don't know, behind him. I'm just struggling. I think I've cooked the tyres. Maybe that's a problem. I mean, Pirelli, there's not a chance Pirelli could build a tyre that could withstand the G-forces going around here. The amount of load that goes through the tyres around a circuit like this is absolutely ridiculous as well there. But so it must be 36th will be the top Formula 4 car here. So they are just in front still. Try and nail the line through the bus stop. Just have not got any confidence anymore in the tyres. So that is the lead F4 car. So, okay, the F3 cars aren't a million miles away, actually. So they remain fairly bunched together. Obviously, I was expecting our car to be a whole lot quicker. It's a shame we've got no Formula 2. Because obviously then we can have kind of the full spectrum. I think if iRacing added the Formula 2 car, I could be so tempted to do like an F4 to F1 career mode. I think that would be so much fun, like going up through the entire junior ladder, but hopefully we're going to be able to navigate some F3s by the end of this race. And talk of the devil, there is our first one then. So try and make our way right through the hairpin. Again, I've cooked these rear tyres. They are absolutely shredded at the moment. But we've got, yeah, less than a minute and a half left on the clock, so next lap will be the last one here. Still, my best lap is like a 1 minute 30. So I want to try and see if we can break below that barrier. I need to get the battery binds set up again on this car so we can go for the hot lap mode and things like that as and when we need. But, I mean, when you're in a Formula 1 car, the F3 cars and the F4 cars pretty much feel the same speed. And it's that thing that I think about as well. Max Verstappen made the jump from those to these. Admittedly, not this very car. These are a bit quicker than the ones Max was in originally. But how must that have felt the first time around, making that transition? Must have been... I mean, it would have been like being kicked in the back of the head the first time you went out in one. Just so ridiculous. And I mean, it puts it into perspective, of course. When you go around in Formula 1, obviously they're all pretty much as quick as each other. When you put it up against like a Formula 3 car, which still in itself is a pretty fast little race car, it really does give you an idea of just how stupid like Formula 1 cars are in the grand scheme of things. Oh, there we go, 1 minute 30.1 last lap. So we can definitely get into the 129s. Just trying to navigate our last few of these guys. Those F3 cars are very good on the brakes though. I'll give them credit. They're pretty much matching us on the brakes into every corner here. And I don't feel like I'm braking that early or anything else. I think they are just pretty good in that regard. But yeah, there we go then. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on Daytona as a Formula 1 venue. I know I've done videos like this before, but I will keep banging that drum every year. That Formula 1 needs to try and explore this place, because I think it's such an underrated combo as well. But it looks like Ben Regan is going to win the race ahead of Sarah there. Nimcross is the official iRacing steward, if I'm not mistaken. Will finish P3, so he did pretty well in this one as well. Can we try and get the run, though, off of these final couple of corners to get the run on Chris just in front of me here? We'll try and put the power down. Maybe he'll get stuck behind one of these Formula 3 cars on the run up towards the line. We've almost lapped all of the F3 cars as well in this race. But out of the final corner then, from P55 on the grid, we are going to finish in P15. Definitely could have had a top 10 in this one had I kept it a little bit tidier. We set another 1 minute 30.1 in the end, and let's go try and find someone. Let's give him a bit of a jump scare. Nope, I've missed him. That, I think, yeah, if you were going to have a monster crash here, that's quite an issue, as we'll just nick that guy as well. But there we are then. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. I fancy doing a few more kind of like fun, random things like this whilst we're still in the depths of the F1 winter break. But yeah, we'll be back very soon with more sim racing content.